Hold up. My views are my own. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Lightning round. Dangerously close.
God,
Okay, that was the longest I've talked to guests before hitting record. I feel like I should have just hit record.
We have that effect on people. I don't
know. We missed an entire Lego Star Wars structure being destroyed before our very eyes,
and then rebuilt in real time.
That's like that's our day. I ruin his Star Wars Legos, and he has to put them back together. That's our marriage.
Also, for everybody out there that was wondering if I was ever going to do a video podcast, thankfully, Levi and Lisa just gave me the perfect solution. So, wait, you're asking who's Levi and Lisa? Well, I'll tell you.
Who are these people?
My guests today are Lisa Hammer and Levi Wilson. Levi is an award-winning playwright. Lisa is an award-winning Sorry, guys, I'm losing my vision. Award-winning producer and also known as the voice of Trianna
Orpheus
on Adult Swim's The Venture Brothers. I didn't write a question about that, but I might actually have to ask you some because I'm so curious about how those get made.
This ad lib it, man. We're freeform right now.
Yeah, we're an improv troupe right now.
Hell yeah. All right. Together, this married creative team have a bunch of projects under their belt, but currently we're going to be talking about this. Their award-winning coming-of-age short film, Luke and Emma and a Gas Station on Franklin Avenue. Man, I'm going to go ahead and say that right off the bat, we have something in common because I love giving things long titles.
Yeah.
It's very playwrighty of you too.
It's also, I'm just very bad at titling things. So, and this was
so good. That's such a good title. Are you kidding me?
It's great for this just because like I couldn't think of like a really pithy, like, one word, because like all of the movies now are like kind of going for like 1 or 2 word kind of titles.
Yeah.
And like, I couldn't think of one for this one. So I was like, well, why don't we just, I think it was even one of our producers like came up like, why don't we just name it, What's Happening? And I was like, oh, yeah. All right.
I mean, I like the title a lot. And like I said, I think we have that in common. That, like, long titles are fun. Not everything has to be called like Taken.
Right, Malignant.
Taken to The Omen.
Can I just interject and say that I woke up early to put on full hair and makeup only to realize this is audio only. So while you're listening to this, I am fully made up and my hair is done, but I have pajama bottoms on.
And also that was one of the things we had discussed this because you guys gave me such incredible insight into video podcasting. We will be probably doing a future episode. Oh, like we just said, the current film is a short film, but it's going to be a feature length. So that would be a great time to come back.
Yeah.
And
so hopefully that's relatively soon, but it's in like movie producing years or like time. It could be
like dog years.
Exactly.
In that time though, I will have learned how to get the secondary camera up. I'll do full hair and makeup as well.
Exactly.
I might even shave off this beard.
No. All you have to do is get Just for Men for that beard.
Just
no shaving. All beards must stay.
Okay. All right, guys. Getting into the film. Can you tell me like just the premise of the film and why is it so important to you?
Well, like, the premise of the film is basically this mixed kid who's like, he's half Asian and growing up in the Midwest, and he's having this interaction with this white girl that, he has a crush on at a gas station. Like his mom stops there, to like pick up some lottery tickets and stuff. And she's, and he waits in the car, and then she comes up to the car, or no, he I don't even know. I don't know what this movie's about. No, so basically, like she shows up and they have this little interaction because he recognized her from school, and and he likes her. So, and she kind of likes him back.
I love the parallel action where the daughter is basically totally hitting on Luke. Emma is hitting on Luke while her own father, who's the principal of their school, is inside basically sexually harassing his mom, hitting on his mom.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Good scene though, because it's I think she says something like, "I'm married," and he's like, "It's cool, I'm married too."
Yeah, he's like,
the Christian town principal of the high school. I mean, like, this is the shit that happens, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, I kind of pulled that off of this thing that like guys do, especially it's like a universal, like a dude thing where you're like hitting on somebody even though you're like taken or something, and you're like, oh, I'm just kidding, unless it's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're saying yes, great. If you're saying no, just kidding.
Yeah, that's
act on it and then run away.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just an ego thing, I guess. I don't know. Or a what if. I love how he's like, it's just a what if.
What if?
What if? Like
the universal cop out. Like, yeah, it's like, would you go out with me? No, I was just kidding.
Yeah.
Never ever.
You're not even my type.
I don't even like you. I hate you.
I don't choices. Yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
I mean, it seems like it's one of those things that like I think like everyone's basically like 13, and then you get older in the body but not in the brain, so it's like
I agree with that entirely. I feel like we can, like, one of the places you see that the most is in like American politics, where just like the way people act like that they're in like a clique, and they're like doing the mean girls thing or the bullies thing, and it's just like, Jesus.
Oh
Christ.
Yeah. It's like a movie. It's like a high school movie. Every day you got to figure out what kind of thing are they going to pull? What kind of bullshit are they going to pull? Some horrible prank they're going to pull.
I'm just going to say Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh
yeah.
Sips coffee.
Jesus. Yeah. She would be like there is no example more astute than her. Like, it's like a mean-spirited sociopathic 13-year-old is now like getting to vote on like bills that for like billions of dollars.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
They're in charge of our lives.
And that she's on like committees.
Yeah.
Where she just gets to grandstand and say just the dumbest shit. Can I say shit?
You can say fucking shit. You could say Marjorie Taylor Greene is the dumbest fucking bitch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, I want to test that out. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the dumbest fucking bitch that I've ever seen.
Dumber bitch than Ted Cruz?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Yeah, doesn't she wear fur coats to like Congress?
I guess so. Yeah.
they're all despicable. It's like the worst possible job. It's like all of us could do it really well, but we just don't want to.
I know. Who's the other one? It's the one who was like the fake progressive.
Kristen Sinema.
Yeah. She like dresses, all crazy and shit.
Hot pink tank top.
Oh my God.
And then just destroys people's lives pretending to be progressive. What the fuck, guys?
I think she's done for because she switched to.
She did, yeah.
She didn't switch to Republican, but she switched to like libertarian. So
yeah, she did something weird. Yeah,
that's basically like I'm giving up.
He went independent.
Oh yeah, Manchin did too. Yeah, all these. It's the weird like sort of like this Tim Poole like progressive to right wing grifter track.
Yeah,
that happened.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been so disappointing. Like the popular progressive leaders have been super disappointing.
You have pressed a button with me, and I have to address it, and it is Tim Poole. And I'll explain this to you why. Okay. Skateboarding has been probably the most influential thing in my life. I started skateboarding when I was a kid. I skateboarded all through my teenage years. I skateboarded all through my 20s. I skateboarded all through my 30s, and I will never ever stop. And the thing I hate about Tim Poole,
skate or die,
is that he portrays himself as a skateboarder. I mean, he's a right-wing troll, and I know that he can. Yeah. I know he can ride a skateboard. I know he has a skate park attached to his podcast studio, but he's a piece of shit, and he sucks at skateboarding. And it's not just that he portrays himself as a skateboarder, because anybody can just be on a skateboarder, and then you are one if you're riding one. But he portrays himself as though he's some sort of pro, and I think he might have had some sponsors in the past. But like,
Really?
I didn't know that.
if Tim Poole is I wish we had a camera so you could see my air quotes. If Tim Poole is a pro skateboarder, then I am the greatest skateboarder to ever live. When I first found out about him, I had to YouTube him and look, I was like, all right, let me see some of this guy's skating. This is not a pro.
Sad as shit.
Wow.
Not a pro level skateboarder. He's fucking lying.
Wow.
Oh my
What
God.
a poser.
Well, he's a fucking poser. He's one of those guys that, also he's one of those dudes that's always like telling you to like hoard cans of beans and ammunition because the Civil War is today.
Oh my God, these people are so afraid of everything. They're
But you're right. He is
terrified.
literally
He's a fucking poser.
he is the definition. Like the definition of a poser. There's no other.
He would have gone into the mosh pit and actually started punching people.
Yeah.
That's how much of a dumb jock poser he is.
So I'm
He's-
actually like friends. I'm a friend of Tim Poole. So like I have like one connection to. I'm not gonna name who it is. I'll tell you later. But like,
don't dox somebody for being friends with Tim Poole. That's like
exactly. It's not his fault. It all came about because of the Occupy movement and all that stuff, and like we were helping out with some Occupy stuff, and then like a friend of mine, I got a friend of mine, was one of the people that like got arrested and all this stuff, and during the like Zaccato Park, occupation and all that stuff. And Tim Poole was there, and they like kind of became friends.
Oh my God.
But it was only because like, at the time he was really presenting himself as like a progressive and as like, this whole, all the progressive movement stuff. And then he started, as he realized that the money was in, really credulous right-wing kind of like Nazi types who will just like, just throw money at anybody who's just going to tell them whatever they want and that like they're perfect and all this stuff.
I can't believe we got here.
He just started drifting that way, and now he's just full on. And it's so it's like a really weird, like 1 degree of separation from Tim Poole, which is not quite comfortable for me. I've had like personal discussions with him. So
oh God, oh my God,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, tell him I said fuck you and you're a fucking poser. No, actually going back to Occupy Wall Street, man, a very interesting thing about that, and I'm sure you're fully well aware, but I just want to bring it up because I think a lot of people don't know this, how many people that were a part of that started out on the right side of things, and I hate to use these internet terms because I hate being such an internet brained person, but all these
here we are.
This is the language they use, and they said they got black pilled by saying that which is before you get red pilled. Black pilled means you lose all hope in the cause. But that, it's not just so like Matt Taibbi is like another person who he was at Occupy Wall Street. He was kind of like a hero of the people at the time, and now he's like Elon Musk's fucking like propagandist. So
exactly, yeah. It's weird to go towards the Elon Musk, and because like I was so close with some of these Occupy people, and I remember getting this sort of like twinge of like this is turning into like a weird little polemic about like the progressive movement in America specifically. Let's
go there.
There was a lot of like I got the sense as an Asian American that like there was a lot of like white grievance happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like it was turning into like why the only reason that they're there is because a lot of these like sort of kind of privileged white dudes didn't feel like they were going to have a place in the economy that was like coming up. We were coming out of recession. There was a lot of income inequality, but there was no place for them. One of my friends was like, I talked to him about it afterwards, and he was like, well, I just was really angry because I didn't think I'd be able to make a living as a writer. And I was like, what? That's it? That's why you,
the rest of us actually gave a shit about people.
And I'm like, I thought you were in it for income inequality,
for all of us, for everybody.
Yeah. And it was like, I found that a similar sentiment across the board. And I would talk to a few people, like we volunteered with Occupy for like when Hurricane Sandy happened and everything too. And, a few people I talked to, and I was like, man, these guys are they're like 1 degree away from fascist, and it's like, there's a lot of similar talking points when you discuss with them, National Socialism versus socialism, kind of things. And they were so quick to just decide that it's the national part that was really the thing that mattered,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that's kind of like my sort of overarching critique, and I'm sure people can get pissed off at me for doing that, but
Actually,
whatever.
I have a thing. So here's the thing. I feel guilty. I feel like I had something to do with Occupy Wall Street not succeeding. I know this is absolutely absurd. So there was, it was happening around the country, and here in Nashville, we had Occupy Nashville Legislative Plaza, and there was a girl I knew, and she was like very dedicated. She was camping out there. She wasn't going home to her apartment. She was staying there every night. But like, I really wanted her to come drink some beers with me, and not and there was like a lot of cops at Legislative Plaza. So it's like not like I could go there and drink beers. So I was like, we have to go somewhere else. And she was like, okay, fine. So she left Occupy to like just go get drunk with me. And I feel like looking back on it, that was really, really like uncool of me for like solidarity.
Did she ever go back, or is she like locked in your basement now?
I think she moved to Texas.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's
Austin or Dallas?
It wasn't meant to be.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ships in the night. Hey, you know what, guys? I forgot that I'm talking about your movie. So
trust me, we're like the royalty of digression here.
Yeah,
why did you choose a gas station as a setting?
So like
God,
the reason like I wrote this out, and there's this whole thing where like you're putting together a short film, and you're thinking about budgets, and you're thinking about like like locations are a huge part of that, and I have this like philosophy of like, I'm just going to write the thing that I'm going to write, and then I will adjust as the opportunities present themselves, so I just in my own head, and like growing up, I always felt like I was in a car with my parents or my mom driving around on her errands. So like, and a lot of times like we just spent a lot of times at gas stations, and there were always all these little mini marts and stuff. And, that's the image that I sort of have in my head of like a good portion of my childhood. Especially when you're like 11,
Yeah.
like it's not like you're living in, on the East Coast, you can just like go out and like it's very urban. You can take a train, you can like there's stuff all over the place you can just walk to when you're like a preteen or whatever. But in the Midwest, there's like, you can bike around, but like if you have to go any distance, someone has to take you there.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to go to Toys R Us that was like 25 miles away, I wasn't biking there,
No.
So but then like it wasn't like I was going, it was like my mom would find a reason to like have some other things that had to be done at the same time. So it'd be like, we'd have to go get gas, or she'd have to go and buy something at the whatever. And she was big into playing the lottery, so she would always like we'd always just stop by the gas station, because then that's where the lottery tickets would be.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like the reason why this interaction happens there is because of that, but also because I was a little inspired by Taika Waititi's short film that takes place at a mini mart in New Zealand. It's like this like black and white thing that he did, God, it was like 20 years ago, and I happened to see it like and I saw it years ago too, and I was like, well, I could do that. And his takes place at night, which is like it's a lot easier to shoot. And I'd even thought about that too. And I actually talked to another producer who said, why don't you have it take place at night? And I'm like, I kind of feel like it should take place at the daytime. So, I just basically like created all these expensive obstacles, active gas station, has to be in the daytime. It's a period piece, cast kids, it was.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been even like harder had you cast like animals, like cows.
Oh, I should have just had like a cat walk by or something like that.
Dogs, horses, coming, like how much harder could we have made it?
I know. But yeah, that's part of it. It's just that was just sort of like the reality of my youth,
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and say it's incredibly relatable, because once you said that, like rolling around with your mom, I was like thinking about my childhood, and I was like, I did spend an extraordinarily large percentage of my time sitting in the passenger seat while my mom drove around doing stuff.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and additionally, usually when she got to like wherever she was going to go, I would generally refuse to get in. I was be like, no, I'm going to stay in the car and listen to the radio.
Exactly.
I don't want to go in Target. I don't, you know,
Right.
like,
Exactly.
It's fucking boring in Target. You're
Yeah,
just
it's
sitting there and
like-
she's like looking at like toilet paper. Like,
oh
Well,
my God. I had this memory. It was,
Yeah.
I remember being like a little kid. It was the first time I heard Don't Speak by No Doubt. I was sitting outside in the Target parking lot and No Doubt came on and it was like, Don't Speak. And I was like, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
It's just, I don't, you just unlocked some core memory for me.
Right, yeah.
All right, so this is like we just said, it's a bit autobiographical. What is the process like for creating an autobiographical film? Like, is it hard sharing stuff that you find personal, or is
Yes.
Can I just say one thing? He's been writing the feature film and his mood has changed dramatically. It's like he needs more therapy now than he did before.
Yeah,
Is it-
like people think like
does
I'll
it feel
do, you know,
therapeutic?
sorry, is it therapeutic?
I don't know.
It's I don't yeah, I don't know. I almost think it's worse. You know, like some people like to go through and do like oh, I use art as therapy and I'm like there's a lot of stuff that I feel like I had to outgrow. And then when like going back and sort of revisiting all this stuff, like it's almost like re-traumatizing, you know, where I'm just like, oh my God, this happened. And then
Yeah.
this person said this, and then this happened, and blah.
It's
And
like
I'm
you're
like,
reliving it. It's weird.
yeah, it is weird. It's like, yeah, it's like reliving it.
That's why I can't even begin to do my own autobiographical story about, being a young punk girl in the 80s. There's so much I could do being in bands, doing the film, but there's just so many horrible things that happen. Like it's just I can't even remotely put that on paper.
Yeah. And it's like, how much do I want to like reveal too? You know, it's like, and maybe I should just go really dark, but it's like, you know, when you put that label on there of like, this really happened, you know, it turns into it turns into something else.
Yeah.
And it sort of like, it puts the focus on like trauma. And some people don't like to, or some people love to just like, I gotta like visit my trauma and then like, tell people about it and stuff. And that's how I'm gonna get over it. But I'm kind of not that person. I don't, I just feel like this is a story that ought to be told, and not because like I lived through some like traumatic episode and I got to tell everybody about it, but because like, this was like, I feel like I had a unique experience as like a mixed person growing up in the Midwest in the 80s. You know, I was born in 1975, and it wasn't too long before that there were states that you couldn't get married if you were a different race, and my father's from the South, my mom's from Thailand, and the South is where race mixing isn't like a thing, right?
Yeah.
So
They're trying to bring it
or
back.
at least let's just say this, it's a thing, and it was enough of a thing that they had to make it illegal, so there were like attitudes that my parents had to overcome, and to be honest, I don't know. I don't know if they overcame it. I think they just left. I think they left, and moved to Kentucky, which was about as far north as I feel like they were, or my dad was willing to go. But like so I was like one of the only mixed people there. I don't even know if I think there was oddly enough, there was like another girl who was half Thai as well. But like, yeah, it's really weird. So I don't know how much I care about like the actual trauma of doing that, but just to sort of like reflect and let people understand that there was like mixed race people early on,
Yeah.
and that it wasn't just like I'm going to kind of tangent over where like I always had this feeling of like, when I'm an actor as well, so whenever I see like casting notices and stuff like that, I'm always seeing, well, now we have like ethnically ambiguous, right? So they're looking for people who don't have a particular like obvious, ethnic look, so it
Oh, like a McDonald's commercial.
Right, exactly. It's like a pan-human, you
Yeah.
know? It's like, so like no one's particularly um represented and no one is particularly excluded, right? It's just
Yeah.
sort of everyone is there.
That's safe.
Yeah, it's a very sort of like safe kind of attitude that we have where we're like, oh, look, we're all like harmonious now and it's all like, blah blah blah. And but whenever you see shows that are like period pieces, like Stranger Things or like The Deuce or something like that, and the popular image of those times is that there was no race mixing, right?
Yeah.
There's black people, there's the Chinatown guy, he's 100% Chinese. This dude's it's just there's the white people that live over here and they're probably racist, and so like there's all these like, and I'm not saying that this segregation wasn't there, right?
Yeah.
But there were also moments when they didn't exist, when people were like fighting that, even if it was just accidental, like, my parents falling in love, they weren't activists, right?
Yeah.
They were just like, hey, we'd like to get together, you know what I mean? Um, so I sort of wanted something to show that there were like simple ways in which people didn't care about race, and how that affected the community and then how that affected an individual,
Do you think that your dad moved you guys to Kentucky because his family was so against him marrying your mom?
That's a great question, Lisa Hammer.
I'm curious.
No, that was and that's the thing. I've never directly asked, and I'm still, I still talk to my father's side of the family, but it's like we're not like estranged or anything like that. But I always got this sort of underlying impression, he would say things to me like, every time we would go back to visit and he would say things like, oh, every time I come back, I remember why I left. And I'm like, ooh, but never elaborate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who knows,
Um,
our aunts and uncles and, my dad was talking some shit.
yeah. But it was your fault. So, I mean,
Yeah.
take your lumps. No, so I guess, not to get political again, but when I was asking, about, is it therapeutic? I guess, and then you said, you brought up art therapy, and I guess it's not the same as like George Bush, like sitting around, like doing watercolors of cats
Right. Yeah.
to try and forget about all the war crimes he committed. Like
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
that's different because it's not like it's not like he's making a movie about all the horrific things he did and
Right.
like,
Yeah.
and like how wrong and how he like let Dick Cheney just control him and
Right.
and like
Oh,
he's like no, I did a watercolor of a cat. I feel great.
I know.
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. No, he's
Where's his
happy.
Netflix deal
He's happy as a clam. He's happy as a clam.
He's like, hey,
or something?
it's a cat. I did it with water.
Can I just say one thing about him?
Yes.
We had my grandmother had one of her best friends in the world was a German scientist at NASA, Klaus Heiss, and he used to live next door to the Bushes and when they had their summer home or something, and he told me without he didn't make jokes. This is like a very serious German scientist dude. He said George Bush Jr. is so stupid that
How stupid was he?
I would observe him from my yard, bending over and running into a wall and smashing his head and falling down and getting up and doing it over and over again as a young boy.
Okay. Oh my God, for multiple reasons. One,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yes, that is President George W. Bush.
An American and a legend. All right, but another thing that I think is just a second OMG here. So Levi, you're one step removed from right-wing fascist podcaster and internet troll Tim Poole. And Lisa, you are one step removed from war criminal George Bush.
Yeah. Oh, and there's more where that came from. My family are the Stocktons, as in Stockton, California, etc. So there's been plenty of war crimes.
Oh yeah, isn't that like where the Sons of Anarchy like hang out?
Probably
Yes,
it's a horrible
I believe
town.
that's true. Yeah.
But it was named after him because he kind of helped take California.
Oh, okay. So that's
One of the
That's
He was a
Stocktons, yeah.
Commodore, yeah. The other one signed the Declaration.
Yeah, she's daughter of the Revolution.
Oh, okay.
But okay, so technically, but she's not a member of the Daughters of the Revolution,
Yeah,
but she could be.
They'd all be racist.
So like in Boardwalk Empire, the guy that basically founded Atlantic City, the Commodore, is that kind of like the same kind of person?
Well, he was actually a Commodore in the U.S. Navy.
I think the guy in Boardwalk Empire was originally a Commodore before.
Oh, he was too?
Oh, I'll have to look that
neat.
up.
I'll have to look that up. Yeah.
like
Commodore...
like Steve Buscemi's mentor.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Commodore Stockton definitely took California, and he went after pirates. And he returned. He was very anti-flogging, anti-slavery, and I think he sort of helped form Liberia. He brought emancipated slaves back.
He was instrumental in the formation of Liberia.
A good Commodore.
And
I misunderstood
for the time,
and forced them to create. Like went in and talked to the tribal elders and forced them to create Liberia and
talked.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, let's just go ahead and say this. For the time period, being anti-flogging would be like today's equivalent of being like the most woke person on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He was definitely progressive for that
very
period.
Progressive.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, very anti-flogging, anti-slavery. He was he just wanted everyone to have rights. I don't know, like
or something. I don't know.
My grandmother had some of his artifacts in the attic. We used to play with his epaulets and his sword, which are like in a museum now. We had no idea.
Wow, awesome.
So weird.
Well, speaking of flogging, actually, no, not speaking of flogging. So you guys made a movie, and I got to ask some more questions here.
Oh, right.
Obviously, this is kind of more of a Levi question because it's about casting, and in this sense, which is, what is it like casting actors that to play yourself, or not necessarily play yourself, but to play someone who is kind of a representation,
kind of like a version.
Yeah,
that was hard.
It's pretty interesting. And it was hard. We actually, we went through a great casting company, Liz Lewis Casting here in New York, and
well, she actually made it easy. It was hard before her.
Yeah, because we did our own casting call, but then we also had her find some people, and then we sort of like mixed them all together, and we actually, like, the people that we ended up finding, we referred to her for callbacks too. So
yeah,
but it was like it was like, I don't even know if it was that hard. Like I was more interested in casting the person who would play the version of my mother, but like myself, I was just looking for somebody who was like a good actor and who could be open to like being somewhat rebellious and resentful against his own parents. So
yeah.
And I think the part that really ended up selling me, and like, no insult to like Coulter, who's an amazing actor, and he's doing really well right now. But I think a lot of that had to do with like his own parents, like positivity and encouragement, and like encouragement in the sense that like he wants to be an actor, and they were like, okay, we're gonna help you. We're gonna be part of that journey, as opposed to being like, weirdly judgmental stage parents.
Yeah.
So like they're basically just like, they're supporting his dreams and ambitions, which I think shows in how he works, as opposed to like feeling the pressure to be a type of successful actor, which I feel like I encountered, in the audition process, where it'd be like, yeah, there were a few where I was like, this kid could be good, but there's something holding him back. And,
yeah,
we had one callback. It was like between Coulter and this other guy. And I like the mother pops up in the callback.
The mother comes on the callback on the Zoom.
And I'm like,
the stage mother.
Right. And I was like,
no.
I don't know if I can deal with the attitude that I'm seeing.
Well, she was scowling.
Screen.
She was scowling at all of us and scowling at her son and scowling. We're like, nope, out.
And I was like, I can't have that on the set.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah, he should
Like,
fire her as his manager. So, okay, you knew I was going to ask this question, but I'm, not to be so predictable, but all right, husband and wife team. The question here is, how do you guys work together as husband and wife?
I love it.
How was the work, collaboration, and roles split up?
I love it. I feel like we naturally fall into like who does what. I'll tackle one thing and he's already tackling the other thing. I don't know how we are so well oiled like this, but we have similar aesthetics, and we kind of grew up at the same era. Your parents are older, so your parents and my parents were the same age. So we have a lot of the same influences, even though I'm older. But I just love it. I love waking up and, he makes a latte, and then we'll talk about camera lenses, and then we'll go into, we'll watch the movie and critique it together. And I don't know, I love his work so much, and he loves my work, and we just try to like help each other.
Yeah, it's surprisingly like not actually that difficult. Like we tend to like discuss ideas and we don't get too heated. Like, we obviously have disagreements about, like artistic ideas, but like we're pretty good at compartmentalizing whether or not it's like, did I take the trash out this morning versus like, do you want to frame this, like how do you want to shoot this scene,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That was actually not to be, I'm not trying to be silly. Honestly, I was curious if that might be an element, because just, when you're with someone for a long time and you're married and you live together, and your wife goes over to your Star Wars Lego thing that you spent hours building and she just breaks it for no reason. And then like, do you take that to set? And
right.
Okay, I'll stop.
Well,
I'll stop.
I don't like to like, I think like, I love being on a movie set too much.
Yeah.
Right. To let that affect me. Because like I just like have so much like love and respect for the process of filmmaking and what it can bring to people, that like I just feel like I wouldn't even if I thought that there was something where I couldn't, like leave other stuff behind and just be there in the moment and like make this thing happen, then I don't even think I would do it, like I'm sure I could like just be angry as the manager of, like Walmart or something like that. You know what I mean? And it would just be like, if I'm just going to be angry at while I'm doing the thing that I love, then what's the point? Like, what's the point of it?
Yeah, we just love it. We love it. And we seem to like whoever is slacking in one area, the other one seems to just naturally pick up the slack, and it sort of just keeps going. And, like he'll be doing a camera test while I'm editing, or, there's always something creative happening here. And in between we'll do, clean up the kitchen or, he actually does all the cooking. He does Thai food. It's amazing. But like we both kind of pick up the slack in different areas, and I love producing his work. He loves helping with my work, and I don't know, it just seems to fall together somehow.
Oh yeah. Also, I mean, like, I wasn't like hoping I figured people listening would be like, hey, they're married, how do they make it work? But apparently you're just like, we love the work. It works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's
the work is the most important thing. So
yeah.
There's no high like there's no high that compares to being on set.
Yeah.
In my world, no. Even when I was singing in my band and being on stage, I didn't get as excited as I get on set. That's why I'm more in film now than music. I just get so excited by it.
Yeah, actually, I'm not to talk about myself, but honestly, that's more the direction I want to head with my life right now too. I'm not that I'm done with music, but I'm kind of like, I am in a way done with it. Does that make sense? Where
the music industry is done with us because it's all Spotify. I get $23 a year from Spotify. I get $24 a year from BMI. I get like 15 cents from, all the other, it's like the music industry is done with all of us if we're not some kind of corporate AI bullshit that they can just put siphon all the money off of and put on in the grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, there's plenty of cool like underground music happening, but like I'm not 20 anymore, so I'm just gonna move over here to film. Like we're re-releasing our old stuff. Like we've got labels. We just had something come out on a compilation on Cherry Red Records. So my band Requiem in White. We are on a compilation now with like Dead Can Dance, Cocteau Twins, The Cure, Red Lorry, Yellow Lorry,
Yeah,
Tail.
let's plug this while we have a chance.
Yeah.
What's the name of the band again? I'm sorry.
Requiem in White, and this CD set. Let me find the box set.
And we just got it in the mail. There it is. Yeah.
So the band was Requiem in White, and we were like Black Sabbath with an opera singer. Basically, it was the whole thing, like the gowns, the crowns, the smoke machines. It was cool. So we just got onto a Cherry Red Records compilation called No Songs Tomorrow, and it just came out. And this is the first really big compilation, and we've been around since the beginning of time, but we finally like, I feel like our music is being re-released and like the new goth kids are just like, what is this? Oh my God, it's so good.
Hell yeah. All right, you guys heard it here first. Go check out Requiem in White and rock out to it, especially if you're a young goth kid and you need to get to the roots, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I keep doing this. Okay, sorry. You guys made a movie. Did you know that? All right. Documentaries, narrative films that can be a powerful method for driving social change or expanding people's horizons. How is your film accomplishing that? If that's
the short film, how does it?
Well, I can tell you its effect on the audiences when we bring it to festivals. People just come up afterward and they either say, I was really touched by the mixed race comments, and when I was touched by the sexism and the misogyny of the father in the mini mart. So a lot of people are touched by it, and we didn't even think they would be.
It was I think that was a surprising thing, because I don't know what's people are gonna think. And then we went the festival circuit last year, and there were a lot of people who were, it wasn't even all mixed race stuff. A lot of it was like immigrant story, like I have like Hispanic people or Hispanic descent, whatever, come up to me like my mom is from like Guatemala or something like that, and this is how I felt this.
Yeah.
And so I think that there seems to be sort of like this lacking of people being sort of seen in their experiences, going back to the casting process, I talked to Coulter's parents, and they told me after, during like, we had a fitting, and I like, his parents took me aside, and he was like, when Coulter saw this script, he was like, he really connected with it. He was like, I really have to be in this movie, and I was like, this is a kid who is 11, right?
Now.
Identifying with some shit that happened to me that was, in the
80s.
In the 80s, when his parents were probably like barely even alive, if they were even alive,
Yeah.
Like
still happening.
And I was like, but he connects with it, right?
Yeah.
So it just
he's great. He's a great actor. I just wanted to interject that.
He's really good. He's like a co-host of this kids show now, and he was in this like
PBS Kids,
something like that. And then like he did some voice work on that. Oh my God, what is that cartoon on Netflix that's like Adam Sandler's in it, and with Turtle and Leo, yeah.
He's definitely
like going like, I'm gonna be riding his coattails. Like I'm gonna be like, you're gonna be like, who's the so you got any like names in your thing? And I'm like, yeah, the same kid. Like he's a name now. Let's go.
We gotta write that.
Give me $5 million
feature going before he gets too old.
Yeah. Speaking of feature, so there's no way you can. I mean, obviously there is a way you could, because I mean, I guess Clerks took place entirely within one convenience store. But
right, yeah. It was also made for like $20,000.
Yeah. As a feature length film, would you change the title? I mean, which would be a bummer because I love the title, or would you try to pull this off almost entirely in a parking lot?
No,
I know it's already got like multiple It's sorry because I've already finished the feature script, and it's all over the place. Not all over the place, but there's like a handful of like, I don't even think I don't even think I have a gas station scene in it. This was just
Oh.
like proof of concept, but I wasn't even sure if this scene specifically would be in the movie. Just because it's like I had to sort of like truncate a lot of like scenes into like, 13 minutes or whatever it
I
is.
just thought of a way you can incorporate it if you ever wanted to. We'll talk later.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know what I don't even know. I don't know what I would call it. Like so far we've just been calling it like Luke and Emma. But it's a little bigger than that, like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's fine. I think Luke and Emma is fine. And I'll try not to like, make other Gen Xers go, isn't this a little bit like Lucas? And I'm like, no, it's not.
It's
But
not.
it's Luke.
Well, if you want my 2 cents, which you don't necessarily need to take, I love the long title, man, and I would just say put some more words in there because they're
Like make it more.
because there's so many ways you can make it. Because so Luke and Emma at a gas station, on sorry, what avenue is this? Franklin Avenue. So I don't know. There's something charming about the long ass title. So I don't know. I would say maybe, I mean, it's your movie, and I'm not gonna. My 2 cents is Luke and Emma, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Blah blah blah.
Colon. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. That's so funny because I I had a couple 2 weeks in a row where I wasn't releasing new episodes, and I went to the archives, took some old good ones, and just kind of did them as reruns. And as long titles go, I had done a episode with this journalist who wrote a book about shipping container houses, and for some reason Tennessee Williams was for some reason I would do a lot of pun titles for the podcast episodes, and when I was doing it, so when I do this, it's called From the Archives : and then whatever the original title was, and then I'll say whatever date it came out. And the title of this thing is fucking cat on a hot tin shipping container. Wait, no, it's called A Shipping Container Named Desire (parentheses cat on a hot tin shipping container).
Oh, I love that.
So like just my natural need to make titles long. But
Yeah.
okay, guys, I gotta tell you this. We are getting dangerously close to the lightning round. The lightning round.
Oh, shit.
Wait, there's a lightning round.
What?
Yeah, we try to do this in every episode. I don't write the lightning round. As you can see, this is written on literally in a notebook by co-producer Colleen, so I never know what I'm going to be saying to you guys.
Did she just write those things down as we were doing this?
Oftentimes she does, but
okay.
I love that.
She wrote this I think last night and just set it beside the computer. So lightning round, gas station edition. Do you guys want to like just
that title's too short.
Lightning round, gas station edition, a Star Wars story.
Which
gas station saga.
I want Levi to be directing Star Wars. That's my dream, and so it's his.
I'll totally do that.
I would love it if you got on Disney Plus and like put a little bit of oomph into some of the things you're doing, because a lot of the shit is so slow. And I'm not trying to complain. The Mandalorian was great because I had a newborn baby when that was brand new, and we were up at 4:00 in the morning every single day.
Yeah.
He couldn't do anything, and so I would just sit and watch The Mandalorian for like 3 hours. It was perfect because I was so tired and I didn't really want a whole lot to be happening anyway.
Right. Oh my God.
The Mandalorian. Let's get back to
okay. Lightning round. We're like
okay. So there's more than one way we can do this. You could both answer the question or you could take turns with questions. What do you want to do? Like,
you want to just tap on the person who
we can take turns. Why don't we do that? That
or actually, or we can just do like,
or we just yell.
Well, but I might want to know both of your opinions on each gas station question.
Oh,
you know what?
Okay.
All right, let's go into chaos mode. We're gonna do this
however
the fuck it happens.
Okay.
First question: what is the nicest type of gas station?
Thornton's. I don't know if that's a type. You know what? The nicest type is like a Flying J or something like that, where it's like
It's like a
Yeah.
Whole
it's like a mini mart, and you go in there, it's in the
like a
middle of
Walmart.
nowhere,
Yeah, it's like a Walmart.
and they have to like just drop in this like full everything for everyone traveling through like, you know, some like state somewhere, and they're just like, I don't want to live here, but I could.
Yeah, because you like, yeah, because the gas station sells like Carhartt, like
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. It sells like everything. And there's like, you know, there's like all these truckers there. There's like diners. There might be like a, you know, 1-star restaurant.
Yeah,
and like,
pharmacy.
And there's
All
like
right.
the bathroom with like the showers. It's crazy.
The trucker.
Oh yeah, some of them have showers too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all right, Lisa, you gonna stick with the Flying J?
Yeah, I'll go with Flying J because I'm from like the New England area, so we didn't have all that
Mhm.
as much. But we have driven across country, and I have toured with my band across country, and we did enjoy the Flying J's quite a few times. As no other,
Yeah.
there was nothing, no
I
other
think the
choices.
competitor is Sheets
Yeah,
with a Z.
yeah, what is that?
SHEETZ, I think is the other one. It's like a Flying J, but it's you know, it's a sheet.
Sheep? That
Yeah.
sounds horrifying.
It's really weird.
There's some other ones too. Like off the top of my head, I can't recall the names, but they are like these like sprawling gas
Yeah.
stations that are like, yeah, they're the size of like what a mall used to be like in the 90s.
Yeah, really. There's so in Jersey, if you go down the turnpike, all of these exits are just basically these giant, but they're like state run. They're like state versions of it,
They're
right?
very nice.
Yeah.
Very clean.
They're
There's even a
huge.
Stockton one.
That's right. Richard Stockton
Rest station.
shithole.
Oh, speaking of shitholes, there's a secondary part to that question, which is what is the grossest or worst gas station?
What's the grossest one?
Grossest or stat? Whoa.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's any.
I mean, there's so many.
I got to tell you, like any gas station that I've taken, you know, 95 down to Florida, and you just got to like stop because there's no place else. And it's weird because like, you know, these weird little, it's like side stations that like used to be a Chevron or something, or like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, anytime we
like a
park,
franchisee.
anytime we parked and he's getting gas and I have to use the bathroom and I have to go get a key and walk
Oh,
around to the
outside bathroom.
You know
I was
that
gonna say that. I was literally
Yeah.
gonna say when
I'm
you
gonna be abducted, so I just say keep track of me so that I'm not abducted.
Exactly. Yeah.
100%.
Kurt Russell.
So the beautiful thing about the Flying J, indoor restrooms, like
Mhm.
inside the actual thing. You're not
Mhm.
going to be it's not going to be a Liam Neeson movie's about to pop off.
Yeah.
Secondly, yeah, when you go to the ones where they give you like, and they don't want you to steal the key, so it's attached to like a filthy
Like a
broom
stick.
handle.
Yeah. Right. Like a broom handle. Yeah.
That's just covered in like, you know, it's got Ebola
Yeah.
on it.
Oh,
And
It's
like
like-
the 10-year-old freaking Hostess cupcake that's like next to like, you know, like off-brand motor oil.
oh God.
And, and even after you wash your hands, you just have to pick up that piss covered stick again.
Yeah.
So
You think it's only piss? It's got every
It's got
excrement on there.
yeah,
It's
every
ground
bodily
floor.
fluid is all right.
Yeah.
All right. This one's a little bit more fun. What is your go-to gas station snack?
Beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
All right.
Easy.
Damn, you guys agree. No wonder you work so well together. Okay. Choose one: a gas station hot dog or gas station donut.
Donut.
Donut. Yeah.
This explains. I'm
Fewer
seeing.
ingredients, I think.
I'm seeing the like the frictionless
conveniences.
way you guys work
Yeah.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. A cherry or a blue raspberry Slurpee.
Blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry.
Really? I thought you would go for
I
cherry.
can't stand artificial cherry. It's
Oh.
disgusting. Blue
Yeah,
raspberry.
you guys are like, I mean, really just on the same page about gas stations.
Yep.
Okay. What is the weirdest thing you've ever seen for sale in a gas station?
Oh God, where do we begin? The
If you've been to
weirdest thing.
Florida, you've seen some weird shit.
Yeah.
Definitely, I've seen like dried alligator paws and hands and stuff on
That's
a
what I was
chain.
thinking. I was thinking like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
and there. Oh, I can't even think. I'm just thinking of like some kind of weird something that was at like south of the border,
We've stopped
which
at
is
quite
like
a few
one
weird
of the
places.
most
Yeah.
weirdly racist like gas station things.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I would say the dried alligator paw for me. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't even think I've seen that.
Have you ever seen any kind of like weird pickled shit, like weird pickled eggs or weird pickled
Oh,
okra
yeah.
or
Yeah, but like weird food for me is like not a big deal. So like
I had never had boiled peanuts till I went to a gas station in the South.
I mean, I think I saw like pre-cooked alligator meat one time. That was
Sure,
interesting.
yeah.
All
It's
right,
very
that's got to be
chewy.
the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, but it's in the same like world as beef jerky.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know, like not beef jerky, like not dried, you know, but
It was
like
like still
just, like,
wet,
cooked, packaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it was really.
I remember I went to a gas station when I was a kid with my mom. Speaking of going to gas stations with your mom,
Mhm.
and it was in Florida, and they had great white shark teeth for sale. And I was
Oh,
like, oh my God, mom, I have to have a great white shark tooth.
cool.
And she got it for me. And I wonder if I still have it. I doubt it, but I loved that thing. I thought it was so cool, man. I was like, I have a great white shark tooth. I took it to school when I got back. It's like, yeah.
That's got to be the name of your film, Shark Tooth.
Shark
Call it, a story of
Doug at a gas station with his mom buying a great white shark tooth.
Yeah.
Colon the Meg 2.
The Meg 5.
Getting back into the creative zone, make up your own gas station, company, chain. What is it called and what is it known for?
I would think it should be international, all kinds of international foods. And I think it should be called
Eat here and get gas.
I love it. I love it. I'm sorry.
That's the motto. That's the motto. I don't
That's
know
the motto.
what would it be called.
I like that. Eat here, get gas. What would it be called?
God, is that a lightning question? That's wow. I gotta like think about that.
like
Like I'm gonna be thinking about this for a while.
You're not, so I forgot to mention lightning round. Don't think, gut reactions only.
I like Thai one on, but it's Thai like Thai food, like Thai one on.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like that gas station come and go, and they spell it CUM. You ever seen a come and go?
That's the worst. That's
they have a lot of those in certain southern states. All right, guys.
I would call mine butterfly kisses.
Butterfly kisses. I have one last question for you guys, and that is this: where can people find you, follow you, check out your film, and once again, maybe plug the band again, since it was new to me that I didn't know about it.
We have a bunch of link trees, but you can find everything if you start on lisahammer.com, Lisa Hammer, like MC Hammer, lisahammer.com. It has my news and Levi's news and the film, and the bands are all on there. Requiem in White, Morsa Politica, Radiana, and then all of our films. I've made some experimental films that are like in the Getty Museum and et cetera, et cetera. And we have a TV show on Amazon right now called Great Kills, where we follow a hitman around Staten Island, James Marandino from SLC Punk directing. And I've got a whole series from the 90s that I made with Dame Darcy that's now on Night Flight Plus called Turn of the Century. And it has like Thurston Moore, Courtney Love, like crazy weirdos doing weird Victorian fucked up shit in New York in the 90s. Turn of the Century on Night Flight Plus. And what else are we doing?
Let's see. What's your Instagram handle?
Oh, the Lisa Hammer.
Yeah, and mine's Levi the Wilson. Yeah, and I've got links under my little like link section in my profile. So I think
you find links.
Yeah, which is pretty much what she was just saying. So it would just be like to Great Kills.
Great Kills. You can watch it on Tubi also for free, or you can just
it's a Tubi original, so you should be able to find it there.
Yeah, Great Kills.
Cool.
It's really funny and dark and weird, and we film it and act in it. So we're filming ourselves acting as we follow a hitman.
Yeah, it's a mockumentary. It's about a documentary team that follows a small-time hitman from Staten Island.
Yeah.
I'll totally check that out. I'm growing to really actually like love Tubi. Like,
it's really crazy, right?
Tubi or not Tubi?
Yeah.
Apparently, Tubi.
The answer to that is Tubi. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll do it again when we do the feature, and we'll do more lightning round. I love lightning round.
The whole thing will be a lightning round.
No, it's all lightning round.
And I'm gonna have a camera. I'm gonna have a camera set up. I'm gonna be wearing a suit.
And throw in some trivia next time too, because that's always fun.
Yeah.
We'll do like Jeopardy.
We're gonna have it all. It's gonna be a variety show to end all variety shows.
Exactly.
It's gonna be like a 3-hour, like unformatted.
Yeah. Jazz
Right.
improv.
We're gonna be talking about COVID. We're
Oh,
gonna
and
be
also
like,
we'll be on film, so there'll be dance numbers.
Oh,
my
definitely.
God,
We
yeah.
can provide all of that. Yeah. Pull out the guitar.
it should be like this crazy, like Joe Rogan style extravaganza. Just talk about politics and everything. Like, we're halfway there.
Yeah, we have to get just like the dumbest UFC fighter also to just be there with us to be
Right,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
to chime in.
Oh my God, yeah. Do you remember back in the, you probably weren't alive yet, but back in the 90s, Howard Stern had not a cable access, but it was a New Jersey local show that was the first filmed radio show. Like it was actually his whole radio team, but in a studio. And they had the crazy, they had a crazy like Kenneth Keith Kallenbach, they had Underdog Woman, they had all the weirdos come in and like do their little, it was like a variety show. And then they were sort of a panel watching and commenting, and it was sort of radio, but sort of cable access.
It is funny that they were doing that back then.
Yeah, it was amazing. You should look it up and maybe do that format.
Well, who else did something cool like that? Kind of like I feel like pioneered a lot of podcasting was also Tom Green. People don't really give him the credit for that, but he was kind of doing the same thing that I feel like you're describing a little bit.
Back in the 90s.
Yeah, it's like mixing a radio show with a variety show, but you're like in a studio, but it's really fun and weird, and I think that needs to come back.
And also, I mean, Comedy Bang Bang is just a podcast again, but do you guys recall when Comedy Bang Bang was on Independent Film Channel?
I never watched it, but I do remember it being on there. Yeah.
So Reggie Watts was part of it. Weird Al Yankovic was part of it for a while too.
Oh.
But they would have a guest like a podcast. They would do an interview, but then they would just cut away into the most insane shit that had nothing to do with the interview.
Right.
Oh, wow, I gotta watch that.
So that's actually kind of a dream of mine to maybe to evolve in that direction. Where
oh my God,
it just goes.
You
into
can
like
do that too, like
comedy.
You can do it if you want to edit people who you're interviewing, like their films or their videos. If you edit that in, that would give you some variety as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, so many things to do. Oh,
I know.
can't believe
everybody, this is what we were doing before the actual interview started.
Yeah, I'm actually glad we're doing this now because we talked for 15 minutes before we hit record, and this was the conversation. So you guys finally got to hear it. All right, guys, I gotta go. I'll talk to you later.
We've got the ideas. We got juicy ideas.
All right.